What are the best resources for comic book collectors? If you have ever wondered what the best resources are for comic book collectors, especially in the context of 1950s nostalgia, you are in for a treat. Comic book collecting really took off in the 1950s, especially among the baby boomer generation. Back then, comic books were everywhere. You could find them at newsstands, drugstores, and even barbershops. They cost just a dime and were filled with colorful stories that captured the imaginations of kids and teens. To kick things off, understanding comic book eras is essential. The Golden Age, which began with Superman in 1938 and lasted into the early 1950s, introduced many iconic characters. By the late 1950s, the comic book industry began to change due to new rules and public pressure, but the love for comics remained strong among young readers. When it comes to finding comic books in the 1950s, local newsstands and drugstores were the best spots. Kids would save their allowance or do chores to buy the latest issues. Trading comics with friends was also a big part of the experience, allowing collectors to build their collections without spending extra money. Now, how did collectors keep their comics safe back then? In the 1950s, there were no special plastic sleeves or storage boxes. Most kids simply stacked their comics in piles or tucked them under their beds. Some used shoeboxes or old magazines to keep them organized. Over time, collectors learned that keeping comics out of direct sunlight and away from moisture helped them last longer. As the years went by, dedicated comic book shops began to appear, although they were rare in the 1950s. These shops became exciting places for collectors, offering old issues and a chance to meet other enthusiasts. Today, comic book shops are fantastic resources for finding vintage comics and getting advice from knowledgeable staff. When it comes to appraising the value of comics, most kids in the 1950s did not think of them as investments. They were simply fun to read and collect. However, as the hobby grew, some collectors realized that certain comics were rare and could be worth a lot of money. Today, collectors can get their comics appraised at shops or through online services to find out how much they are worth. One of the best resources for comic book collectors is the community. In the 1950s, this meant swapping comics with friends or discussing favorite stories at school. Nowadays, collectors can join clubs, attend conventions, or connect online to share their passion and learn from others. If you are inspired by the 1950s and want to start collecting, here are some practical tips. First, start with what you love. Collect comics that bring back memories or feature your favorite characters. Second, protect your collection. Use acid-free bags and boards to keep your comics in good condition, even if you did not have them as a kid. Third, visit local shops and shows. These places are great for finding old issues and meeting people who share your interests. Lastly, keep an eye on value. While nostalgia is important, knowing which comics are rare can help you make smart choices. In summary, comic book collecting is about more than just the comics themselves. It is about the excitement of finding a new issue, the joy of sharing stories with friends, and the memories of a simpler time. Whether you are looking for old favorites or new discoveries, the best resources are the ones that connect you with the stories and people that make collecting special.